Well, how's everybody? All right, listen, I've decided that, first of all, how many of you were here this past weekend, Friday and Saturday? Okay, how many of you missed all of that? Raise your hand, you weren't here. Okay, but you're here now. You're here now, that's good. We talked about a lot, and we talked about marriage and roles and all that kind of stuff, and it was really fun. Is the music? Yeah. Does that be on? No, it's okay. We'll just sing with it. It's all good. I want to talk a little bit about the roles in marriage for a minute, and I want to talk about what's difficult, and then I want to entertain questions. And if you were not here and you have questions about marriage, I'm sure I covered quite a bit of it during the session, but I'll kind of reiterate some of the things I said if you have a question. And we're going to spend about 30 minutes, so you'll have a good bit of time. But let me kind of prime the pump and say one of the things that I've learned about marriage is I've learned that marriage is all about everybody understanding their job description. When you get married, one of the hard things is sometimes you don't know what you're supposed to do, and they don't know what they're supposed to do. And sometimes the wife is trying to figure it out, and the husband's trying to figure it out. Can anybody relate to that a little bit? Yeah. And so what gets you in trouble sometimes is you're telling them their job description, and they're telling you, and everybody's kind of telling everybody else. What has helped my wife and I, we've been married for 38 years, is coming to a place, it'll be 30 in December, we've come to a place where we kind of accepted certain roles. Some people get hung up on this idea of who's in charge. And I think one of the lessons I've learned about leadership is if you're in charge, you don't have to always say you're in charge. You just kind of earn the right to be in charge. How about an amen to that? Amen. There's something about coming to the place where the wife clearly sees a role for the man and prays that he succeeds. The same thing with the man. He sees a role for the woman and he prays for her to succeed. It's when those roles compete. It's when my wife feels a way and I feel a way, and we end up blaming each other. So what we've done in our marriage is we've kind of come up with, okay, here are the things that I expect from you, and here are the things you can expect from me. And we agreed that, she said, this is what she said to me, I want you to be what the Bible says you're supposed to be, the leader of our house. I want to be submitted to you, but here's what you got to do. We got to make this easy. Submission only works if you trust it. It's got to be safe. If it's not safe, it's hard to be married to somebody that you don't trust. So I've committed on my side to make it as easy for her as I can. That's not always easy because I don't always agree with her. But I've worked at that. And on her side, when it's difficult, she's decided, okay, I have a role to play in your life. I'm your wife. And then added to that, I'm this pastor's wife, okay? And then added to that, I work for you. She's my executive director of administration. So all those roles complicate our life. Our relationship can be very complicated. We can argue about a lot of things. We don't just have the children who are now grown, but we have business to argue about. We have staff to argue about. We have money to argue about. We've got all kinds of stuff. Things she wants to buy, things she wants to do on the business side. And so we have a lot of areas. So what we've decided is, okay, my role as your staff person is to be a staff person. My role as your wife is to be your wife. And then I try to do the same thing. We keep everything separate. And we try to make our home a safe haven, a place for us to get along and to love each other and to be strong and committed. We've decided that the things that we argue about, the things we tend to fuss about, for example, when it comes to intimacy, sexual intimacy, can be a point of tension for us. So we decided, okay, when it comes to those things, we're going to make a decision. Who's going to be in charge of that? Okay, that's right. We have a sex director position. Director of sex. We have a money director, a person that's in charge and makes sure that, that area of our life is straight. Now, Diane just became that. Again, we kind of switched that role for a while because, I don't know, I paid all the bills and stuff, and then I decided, Diane if I could go back, I would make her the director of finance, kinda. Because she's so cheap, she harassed me, I just couldn't take it. But, oh God, it was every dime, and what did you spend the last 50 cents on? It just harasses me. And when you make good money, it kind of bothers you. You feel like, well, are we having a 50-cent discussion here? But she's really good at doing the same thing every day. And so if you make good money, it's good to give it to somebody like that. So we hired a person to even travel. She's over travel now. She's the director of travel in our family. Because she wanted to buy all the tickets. I'm in hotels every week. I'm traveling quite a bit. So there's a lot of plane tickets to buy. So she now is the director of travel. And I have to tell myself, don't buy the ticket. Tell her, Diane, I'm going to Indianapolis. I need to buy it for August the 13th and the 14th. Now she likes it because she can say, I know where he is. That's really important. The staff would sometimes forget to tell her what hotel I'm in. Her big question is, who's going with him? Do we know these people? You know, if it's in another country, I need to know the details. Like my husband going places, I don't know where he's at. Do we know these people? And so she now is the director in charge of that. So that works. When it comes, like I said, sex, you say, okay, one of you gonna forget. One of you has to be reminded all the time. And so you need a director in charge of that. Some of you men say, I'll take that job. I'll be the one director of sexual activity in the family. I'll be the coordinator of that schedule. I'll do that. And some of you women say, no, he gonna forget. I need to be the coordinator. I need to be the directress of that because he's gonna forget. But you need to be honest about that and say, okay, for whatever reasons, this doesn't come to my mind like it maybe should or needs to in our relationship. And you come to, we came to, agreements. When it came to money, we came to agreements. When it came to intimacy, we came to agreements. This many times a week, this many times a month, whatever it is. And then we understand when there are obstacles. Everybody say obstacles. Obstacles. Obstacles, physical obstacles. Tired, things ain't working right, things hurt. This ain't going good, this is a bad night. And so we get, everybody say waivers. Waivers. I need a waiver tonight. I need a waiver tonight. It's going to take longer than I got to sleep tonight. So, I need a waiver. But you don't have waivers every day. Some of you got one permanent waiver. You just got one big waiver sliding by your bed. Don't ask. That's unhealthy. It's unhealthy. And so I'm happy that in my relationship, I don't have, because we've assigned these roles and because we've been honest with ourselves, it's helped us with the bigger issues. So our money issues, work together issues. We have a process for when we disagree, when we are just totally on the other side of the river. So I have a little formula for that. I say, okay, if Diane is on 5th Street and I'm on 12th Street, that may be why we can't hear each other. Because she can't see it. Anybody from Los Angeles? Anybody from LA? Anybody know LA? Okay, good. You know LA? Pretty good? You know your way around? Okay, see in your mind, okay? Normandy? You know where Normandy is? Kind of, sort of? Okay, Crenshaw? Yes. Crenshaw Boulevard? You know what that is? Okay. Crenshaw and Martin Luther King? Can you see it in your head? See, notice, he's kind of seeing it. Okay, name a street in Atlanta. I don't know. Peachtree and what? Get something here. Peachtree and 17th. How many of you can see Peachtree and 17th in your mind? See, I can't. That's how relationships are. We're on different streets. They can't see what you see. They're not lying. Now you lying. I know you see it. No, I don't see it. I don't see it. And so when I talk to her, sometimes when we disagree, I go, okay, we're on different streets. She's seeing something I can't see because I haven't been there. I don't know where it is. If I were to tell you, here's how you get to the Man's Chinese Theater. You go down 75, you get to I-95, you go down 95 to I-10, you take I-10 west all the way to LA, you drop off, and you get right there at where it ends, and then you go straight, turn right, go up the Harbor Freeway a little bit, turn left, get on the Hollywood Freeway, go down the Hollywood Freeway, you get to Hollywood Boulevard. Are you tracking with me? Good. Get off the Hollywood Boulevard, turn left, and go down about a mile, and it's on the right. You can't see all that. You understand? But you can do me the same way with Atlanta. We're on different streets. Can we say that, please? Come on. So we are on different streets. And if you can understand that, it helps you deal with people. Stop taking everything personally. Sometimes they really don't understand what you're saying, and we get angry. I'm tempted every week. I don't know what this girl is saying. I don't know what street she's on, and she's got me really confused. Something simple gets out of whack real easily, and so easily. So that's what I'd say about how we help resolve some of our conflicts. Look at the streets. If a job gets frustrating, it could be the house maintenance. We assign the person to be in charge of that. Believe it or not, I was the person who went and got housekeepers for us, because I learned that my wife's a good housekeeper, but we're busy, and so I went and got somebody, and that's been my job. You wouldn't think that's my job, but that's my job. I do the lawn. I hire the lawn people. She don't pay. She pays the lawn people now, okay? But I hire them. I inspect the grass. I make sure the house is done. If there's something that's got to, she tells me all the repairs. If her car breaks, it's now my car. I'm the car repair guy. She's not going to go to the people and negotiate a deal. That if we're going to move and buy a house, I'm going to negotiate the deal. That's not what she does. But then she wants to decorate it. Come on, say amen. You hear me? So everybody has a job. And if you can give each other room and trust each other, it helps resolve conflict. Now, what I want to do is take time for questions, and I'm going to give you a few minutes. You got 20 minutes. If something you want to ask me, you're going to shout it out, and it's got to be brief. Everybody say brief. Brief enough so I can repeat it, because you don't have a microphone. And then I'll answer questions for you. Hopefully some of you who were not here during the conference might have a question, because I want to make sure you get a chance. But if you were here, you can ask one too. But let's start with anybody that wasn't here that has a question. Pastor, answer this question about marriage. Fire it away. Questions you want to ask me about marriage. Anything you said, Pastor, what about this? Anybody? Yes.
How do you handle procrastination, habitual procrastination?
Sometimes people who procrastinate are uncomfortable. You've got them in an area that they're not good at. If I ask Diane to do something, she takes her time, because that's not her zone. And the same thing with me. If I sit down, I want you to call the tree man because the trees are dropping limbs. She'll look at me and say, okay, why you want me to do it? Now, if I insist that she does it, it's out of her area. People tend to respond quickly to things that they're comfortable with. So sometimes you're trying to get your man to fix stuff in the house, and he really don't know how to fix it. You need to call somebody else and let them fix it. And say, look, honey, I'll take care of this. I'll be the director of home repairs. You know, and believe it or not, sometimes maybe you just call a handyman, get it done in 5 minutes, and be free. So sometimes when you see, that's dead noise, you know, or sometimes it's a sign that the person's just not comfortable. So that's what I'm trying to work that out. Somebody else, question, marriage question. Yes, shout it out.
Can you address like the top 3 rules of fair disagreements and how to...
The top 3 rules of fair disagreement?
How to handle fair disagreement.
How to handle
not crossing lines.
handle the mic. He's got a mic for you behind you, so I can hear you. Is that anointing? What is that, man? Try to make sure my power is a little bit too high. I'm trying to turn it down. Preach today. Hold on for a second. Let me try it. There you go. Okay. Try it again. Try it again. Bring it. Give it to her. Go ahead. Try it. Okay, that's not gonna work. That microphone's got a problem. Shout it out, woman of God. That's okay. We'll worry about it.
Can you give us guidance on rules of fair engagement, like boundaries not crossing, how to engage fairly so that you disagree and still be okay?
Yeah, how to disagree fairly. Part of what you have to do is you still use your middle school and high school rules. If you're going to engage, don't cheat by using middle school and high school, your mama, you know what I'm saying? And yelling and I think that a lot of times the problem with marriage is when you disagree, it shows your nakedness. It shows your insecurities. You know, when the first time Diane used to ask me these Bible questions when we were dating, and she thought I was such a smart guy. She says he really knows the Bible. He went to Bible college. He got degrees in theology. He's like, wow. Romans 5:7, Ephesians 2:1. I mean, I was fast. And so she would. So I remember the first time she disagreed with me. She says, I don't believe that's biblical. I says, I don't think the woman heard me. Let me say it that against. out at the knee or whatever, you know. But she says, no, I heard you, I still disagree. I mean, and so I must make sure that I'm not cheating by using intimidation and yelling. And if I wouldn't say it in a professional environment, well, some of you would. Yeah, let's try it again. If you wouldn't say it to someone you're trying to win their business to, and that's what you're trying to do in your marriage, you're trying to win respect, you don't want to say it to her. And so the Bible says, whatsoever you would that men do unto you, do unto them. So we have rules, you know, no yelling, no your mama, no cussing, no fighting, no grabbing you, no slamming to the floor, none of that. Just allow them to be different. My wife's words, which I don't always like, she says, I'm not talking about your mama, I just have an opinion. Don't you use that, because I don't like it either. But her point is right. She's right. She said, sometimes I have allowed the fact that she disagrees with me to become too big of an issue, and then I go on the attack, which I don't need to. I do think I need to say how I feel. I do think that it can be awkward, and sometimes it is painful, being honest, speaking the truth in love. But the rule is, this is still someone that I love. And generally, when I see people respond improperly to moments like that, they're afraid of something. I've touched something soft. I've got them someplace they don't want to be, and I have to respect that. And sometimes the only way you learn that is in conversation. That's why marriage is so difficult, because in marriage, Warren Buffett says it so well. He says, when you don't know who's naked until the tide goes out. And so when you get to the area of finances, and you know, when you get to intimacy, you know, okay, man, this is personal. Wow. You know, do I look good? Do I not look good? Am I, you know, is this a bad experience for you? Good experience? You know, a lot about marriage is embarrassing. It's humiliating. It's hard for you to manage emotionally. So you just, when a person gets like that, as together as they may be in life, we're in an area now that they're not used to. And generally, if you talk to their siblings, it's been like that all their life. Their mom would say, yeah, that's how John acts. All you gotta do is check him a little bit and you get all upset. And so I try to check myself, because I realize Ricky has some personality dynamics that can kind of get bent when he's pushed a little bit. Yes?
The last comment and rule that you said, does that apply with trust too? Can that be as when you're the person that's usually on attack for the trust part of your relationship?
Well, I think,
There's distrust in.
yeah, I think what you want to do is understand what they face. My wife deals with a guy who travels all over the world. She deals with a guy who a lot of people like. And so around her, she doesn't see guys in my position, and she knows a lot of pastors who are consistently faithful. So if she's feeling awkward about something, if it shows up in our discussion, I have to be fair and understand her side, what street she's on. You see, rather than taking offense to it, I have to understand, well, where are you, baby? You know what I'm saying? My wife was in the session the other day. She says, oh, because she said this to me a while ago. She said, you know, I thank you for being faithful, but you could be an international adulterer. An international adulterer, because you're all over the world, sir. And then she says this, and you can afford it. She says you can afford it. No one would know, and you're really smart. And they like you. She said in the session, you were here, they like him at the hotel. They like him on the airplane. They like him all over the place. They like him everywhere. And if he wanted to be a fool, he could be a fool full time. And so I have to understand the street she's on and the street I'm on, and how she has to manage that. So I help her manage that. I do my best to make sure she understands that. And we work really hard. For example, for a long time, I did not wear a ring on my finger because my fingers I can't wear certain metals. It just breaks, my finger will swell. We found this thing, and it works. And so on days you don't see it, it's a bad day, but generally it's all okay. But so people would write me letters, you know, why aren't your ring on? I said, well, I'm trying, you know. I just act married, you know, I do the best I can. So I have to understand her trust issues. she has to understand mine. If she's, one time my wife was on a plane, right, with this guy who we met in Texas. And so I was in Texas waiting for her. She got off the plane. This really handsome, wickedly looking good dude got off the plane with my wife talking to her. They just laughing. laughing, talking and switching cards. I said, what you doing? So, you know, you start, hi there, how are you, bro? Yeah, but what I'm saying though is you gotta understand everybody's side of the street. You know, it was a good dude, he was a great guy. You know, it's just, you know, we can be funny sometimes, that's all. Somebody else ask me a question, please. Another question. Fire it away, yes.
I have a working mic, Pastor Ray.
Oh, you do? You are the man, sir. That woman right there, she was fast. Woman of God, you raised your hand first. Where you at? Look there, she gave you right there. You were fast. Then I saw you next, okay? Yes.
Hi, it's kind of embarrassing, but
Throw it out.
he's not here, but how do you, if you have told your husband over and over, you know, as far as intimacy, not sex, intimacy,
Yes.
that you want to feel, you know, you told him a little point that you like to make
Right.
you feel special or
Right.
whatever, and it seems like it's not going in.
He's on a different street. He's on a
How do
different
you get on the
street.
same street? What street? How do you-
What street is you know, you have to realize, sometimes, thank you, thanks, my God. Sometimes the person can never live on that street exactly, because that street makes them feel uncomfortable, and they don't know how to word it. They don't know how to say. One pastor, for example, I said, you need to hold your wife. His wife said, could you just hold my hand and hold my hand in public? And he said, no, man, I ain't doing that. No, I never was a hand holder. To him, that's a sign of weakness. Now, eventually, he did it. And he called me and said, man, I should have done this years ago. You know, sometimes I call that low fruit, things you can do that's easy. It's easy. You have to go to the top of the tree. It's really easy. But it shows you where their fears are. There are things that you think women should do that a guy would think is low fruit, and she think, oh, you saw that on some video. I can't do that. You know, and in her mind, for reasons that are tied to history, tied to, and if I were not in mixed company, I'd be more specific. But there are just some things that regarding dressing, undressing, that would make a person feel uncomfortable. They just can't bring themselves to do that. And then you got to be careful too that some of our stuff is not driven by movies and driven by these fantasies that aren't true. You know, and what I try to do is, if she's not going to ever get on 8th Street with me, can I live on 6th? So just go to 6th, and don't be sad. Don't be going, oh, I hate 6th. What you do is say, let me try to find where his intimacy maximum is. And it may not be as perfect as I want it to be, but maybe we can learn to enjoy 6th. He's on 3rd, I'm on 8th, we meet on 6th, we kind of make this work better. Then at least somebody's getting some of what they want. But it ain't all what everybody wants. Everybody with me? Yeah. Okay, good. Somebody else, where we at? Where's the questions? Right here, right here. Just raise your hand high so you can see. Right behind, take that mic behind you, please. There you go. Yes.
Yes, Pastor. Should husband and wife have separate bank accounts?
Well, if you're rich enough, it might be a good idea, you know, because when you get to certain levels of wealth, you do have to separate assets if you don't want to lose all your money in taxes when you die. So that becomes part of a reason why lawyers who do, what is it, inheritance planning, estate planning, help a brother, estate planning will tell you that. My attorney told me that I need to sign certain things over to my wife. I said, I ain't there yet. How much I signed? Whoa, really? Wow. Oh, she crack up. I don't know. That is the truth. She laughed. Sign it over, boy. Sign it over. Come on, dude. Let it go. So I think in some situations it makes good sense, but practically, I think you have to, again, deal with comforts. If you've been married before and you've gone through difficulties, sometimes you really have issues because you have a history. And to me, the issue is we find a way to work together. Start where we are. You got your money, I got my money. Let's do projects together. And then as we work together and earn the right of trust, then people are more willing to say, okay. But to me, if everybody got money, it's all okay. The big issue is we don't work apart. We work together. Okay? So, and sometimes putting your money together can be a bad thing if they don't like it. Because then they, what's you with my money? Then it gets to be a problem. It's better for you to have your own money and be safe. I have my money, be safe, and we'll buy the house together, or we'll buy the furniture together, or we'll save in a savings account together. So practice that first, okay? Somebody else, ask a question. What do you want to know about marriage? Something that's fascinating to you. Raise your hand right there, my sister. He's coming to you with the mic right there. Okay? Yes.
Good morning. I just want to know, how do you deal with in-law issues?
In-law issues. You know, in-laws are on different streets sometimes. And you just have to apply the same principle. Some in-laws want to be intimate and close, and some don't. Some want to change you into them, and some don't. When you enter into a family, you start seeing where they are. You see the nakedness. You see this grandmother is high on I call GP juice, grandparent juice, and you just, you know, you'll fight. You know, those grandkids. I have one little grandbaby named Milani, and I've had to say to myself now, you're just not your baby. Take a minute, take a breath, catch yourself. And I've worked at building relationships with my daughter. She wants to be called daughter in love, not daughter in law. So I call her daughter, call her what she wants to be called. I am fortunate in that she invites me in to the conversation, but she would say he earned that. Because guys especially tend not to engage. And I think we really don't understand how women are wired. A conversation can be amazing. Just the fact that you're interested and what she's going through, interested in her life. We go out together, just she and I, and talk. That's been a blessing. But I reach out to her mother, I reach out, but I only control what street they want to go on. So I'm a guy, now this is me, I'll come to your house, take my shoes off, and sit with you. We'll rap and eat popcorn or whatever. That's me. Everybody's not like that. So I don't try to force people to be like that if that's not how they are. You know, I want to come to the family reunion and I want to meet your family. I want to meet everybody. Some people say, no, I don't want you to meet my family. They're crazy. I don't want you. So I can't force that. What gets you in trouble with in-laws is trying to make them like you. You know, and then I asked, her name is Monica, I said, Monica, tell me what's different about our family. She said, woo, Lord. She said, let me tell you, one thing is you guys are all in. Everybody's in everything together. She said, if one car break, everybody get it fixed. Everybody, you pool your money together. She said, oh man, my family, nobody don't pool no money. If your money's out, you just out. You out. Ain't no saving you and helping you like that. She said, you guys are amazing. You guys just fly us in, and jump in. We all go on vacation every year, and then you pay for the whole vacation. And we got to have our own vacation, but you invite us every year. We say yes to every year. She said, that's new for me. You know what I'm saying? But we also challenge. She said, but I've never been challenged as much as I am as in this family. She said, you guys, what? Call you on the carpet. So can I ask you a question? And she said, there we go. And so she said, I've learned to adapt because you give me space. So, does that help a little bit? I'm learning this. Amen. I'm 8 years into this thing. My son's been married for almost 8 years now. Yes. My brother right there. And then my sister. Were you up first? You been waiting? No, he's first. Cool. Yeah.
Mine's kind of a follow-up with your laws. What do you do? New traditions. Like, my wife has a beautiful family. They have the beautiful traditions, the holidays, but, I want to do something. I want us to create our own, not just repeat what they've done for 40 years.
Well, I mean, kind of take a little bit and a little bit. What they had was good, add to it, put a little salt and pepper on it, make it new spice. I think that's how you do it. But don't discount what they did. My son wants to duplicate what we did. He wants to take it to the places we went. We were a big vacation family. We were big every quarter break families. I'm a big 7-day cycle family. I rest every 7 days, 6 days. I believe in that, and he's been raised that way, and that's how he's raised his family. So, and my daughter's gonna be the same way. So if you take that from them, you take the heritage from them. So don't do that, just add a little spice to it. Now, I've gotta go, I got 3 more, what we got? I got 1, who else do I have? Let me see, okay, 2, I'm closing the door now. Is that it? We got 2. They're gonna be closed, final. Is that 2? That's what I got, 2, we're done, okay? Go here and then go to her first. She's been waiting back there in the back, and we come to you last, okay? Go ahead, what's your question, please?
Which one's in the back?
Right there. One more after her. Yes.
Okay, my question is kind of a follow-up from the sermon today when you said, when you talked about children, you said this is your life and that's their life.
Right.
What happens when you disagree on that separation?
You can't control that.
No, I'm talking about when the marriage, when
When the husband doesn't agree with the way you're handling it.
disagree on the children being separate.
When you say,
Wrong ones.
when the kids being separate, what do you mean by that? What are you hearing me say?
Like, their choices, when they're grown, they make choices and they
Right.
should accept responsibility for those choices, but what happens when they don't and it interferes in the marriage?
So let's say, for example, you told him to get the car checked, they didn't get the car checked, car broke, now they want you to fix it, and he wants to fix it, you don't want to fix it. That kind of thing.
Sort of.
Sort of, kind of, yeah. I don't know that, Diane and I were really hard to agree, but it's hard, because if my kids will know, I give them money a lot faster than my wife. My wife will give me and give them, she helps. But I'm just, I'm fast on the draw. There's certain things don't bother me, but we balance each other. The difference you have is a good thing, because you balance each other. If you go too far left or too far right, you're gonna give them too much and not enough. So you help each other. The key thing is to privately coming to an agreement. So we have an agreement. But there's sometimes it was really hard. I know a guy who said, my kids need to leave home at 18, period. And he meant that. And he meant girls, boys, everybody at 18 years old, go to the military or school away from the house, and nobody stays in here past 18. And he absolutely did not change that. And he's divorced now. Now he is. Because he didn't want the grandchildren to come home. You see what I'm saying? So you gotta pick your battles and understand the long term. But his reasoning was based on his own experience. Military, hardcore, made it in the military, but fought in the war. So he's a tough, good guy. But his philosophy, I think, played a great part in the collision in his relationship. Now he's mellowed out down the road, but sometimes you can create, in this way you gotta be careful, you can become, as a man or woman, so difficult to manage that you create a scenario where no one can meet you. There is no 6th Street for you. You gotta come to 3rd Street, because I'm the man and I want you on 3rd. And so now she said, I'm not coming to 3rd, you come to 8th Street. And then the kids then, y'all go crazy. I'm gonna visit 3rd or visit 8th, and you just end up in a mess. What I say is, find a middle ground. Diane and I have done that, and it worked. So it's not easy all the time, but it's important. Hope that helps a little bit. I got one more, and I gotta go. Yes.
Can you elaborate? I know you spoke briefly on Friday and Saturday about blended families. Like, I have a stepson, and our relationship is strained. Not because it's strained, because we didn't have an opportunity to get to know each other. So no, I don't love him like I love my own, because I don't know him. He doesn't know me. As far as he knows, you just my daddy's wife. How do you repair that with a grown kid? Like, how do you come back and say, can we build a relationship? Can we talk? What do you like to do? How do you get there?
Sometimes when kids have step parents, they're fighting a fight you're not in.
Yes, yes.
Okay? Yeah, but sometimes the expectation is what creates the challenge. It's okay. Let's say his name is Frank. Don't tell me his name. Let's say his name is Frank. Look, Frank, I'm who I am and you who you are. We'll do the best we can with this. And leave it there. Lower the expectation. It is what it is. Just show them respect, and it is what it is. Because sometimes you're not in that fight. Sometimes kids just want their daddy with their mama, period. That's never going to change. That's never going to go away. And if you try to repair that, you become a surgeon with a knife, and they view you not as a surgeon, but as a stabber. Or why can't we get along? And why don't you just try me? And it's like, would you stop sticking me? You married him. Be happy with him, because they may be even dealing with him. You know what I'm saying? Kids take divorce personally sometimes in ways that's unhealthy for them, and they have to figure that out. So lower your expectations, be happy with your life, love them the best you can, and that's what I do. I love people the best I can. And I understand their pain. You know what I mean? Because I'm telling you right now, if I married somebody else, Christina would be a challenge for anybody. Christina would be a challenge for any woman in my life, any new person. Even if my wife died, anything happened, it doesn't matter. Christina has a view about who her daddy is with. And she's 30 years old, and she's a wonderful blessing, but she's a trip. I mean, she's very much a daddy's girl, and she likes her mom and dad together. So some kids never get over that. And that's not something you can control. Because sometimes the reason why you're apart is not something you can control right now or can control then. It is what it is. This is where we are, and they'll grow over time. Be consistent, be kind, let it be what it be, and don't live your life trying to fix all that. Okay? Hey, listen, did you enjoy today? Thank you.